Do you have any kitchen secrets that you can share for the home cook?
Right now in my life, I'm all about, acid, like less salt, a little bit more acid really brings the flavor out and everything. Where I think a lot of people, when you get to people's houses, they go and they throw all the salt and stuff. I'm like, just tone back half of that salt, a little squeeze of lemon, it'll make it taste even better.
What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
I have 2 kids now, so anything that revolves around them. I mean, I don't get to spend much time with them. You're doing 17, 18-hour days 99% of the time, especially since COVID hit. It's all, it's all hands on deck. 16 to 18 hours is basically the norm now. So anytime I get, I'm hanging out with them. But if it was like, for instance, like next week, I'm going to visit my in-laws and we chartered a boat. I love to fish more than anything in the world. So it's one of those things where if you don't find me with my kids, I'm probably on a boat somewhere fishing because I love it. It's just not, I'm not a big freshwater fishing guy. Like I need something over 2 feet long to wheel into the boat. You know what I mean? It makes you feel like you just, when you wheel in a 6-inch trout, it doesn't have the same feeling,
What's your preference, risotto or pasta? And why?
Pasta all day. Pasta 100%. For me, pasta's been the thing I remember the longest, right? When I was 5, first thing I remember is making pasta with my grandmother. It was literally the first memory I have. And I remember eating the pasta off the table. She was making gnocchi, and I was eating the gnocchi off the table as she was making it. And I think the reason why I remember it so much is because she smacked me. Because, God forbid, you did anything you weren't supposed to or out of line. So, I mean, my grandparents raised me. So my grandparents were, born in Italy in the 20s and 30s. My parents moved here when the late 70s, and they were from Italy. They were born there. So I had a very different upbringing. Like, I'm a very old school mentality because my grandparents raised me, So my thing is, like, I revolve my life around pasta. I tell people all the time, like, they're like, hey, you should get into this TV show or something like that. I'm like, I don't have any more mental capacity left. I'm obsessed with my wife. I'm obsessed with my kids, and then I'm obsessed with dough, all dough, whether it's pasta or pizza. And then when you throw rice into that mixture, by the time I figure out how the water gets into the rice kernel, I'll lose my mind. But I do enjoy a really good risotto.
Are you a breast or a legs man?
I like the leg, man. I'm not a huge breast guy. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's just no matter what. There's so much stuff you could do with breast. Like my favorite animal to cook with or in the world is a pig, because to me, cow's cool, but prosciutto di Parma, all this cool stuff comes from the pig. It doesn't come from the cow. It definitely don't come from the chicken. So me, like, anytime I go to a restaurant like that and you got, pork neck, anything like that, I aim towards that all the time. Porchetta is one of my favorite things in the world. I mean, forget it. It's one of the best flavors you ever have in your life. But, whenever I know that whenever I go out to dinner, my wife orders chicken, I get the leg. So I don't even order any meat. I just always end up ordering some vegetables. Like, I know I'm going to get the leg anyway. So it works out.
Chef, your thoughts on garlic keeping vampires away?
I think garlic keeps more than vampires away. I think that the problem with garlic is that people think you need to use a ton of it to get the flavor. What I try to explain to my cooks here all the time is I'm like, guys, the Italians have a really bad rap when it comes to garlic because they actually don't use a lot. And they actually crush one clove with the skin still on, throw it in the oil just to flavor the oil, and then they pull it out. They don't even leave it in there. So sometimes I'll watch them make pomodoro sauce here and I lose my mind because they have like 40 pounds of garlic for 1 can of tomatoes. I'm like, guys, you guys got to stop. But no, I think they should definitely keep vampires, and they probably would keep COVID away too if they were able to give that a shot. That probably would have worked.
Is there anything of importance you would like to share with us?
We're growing a restaurant group for sure. I mean, there's tons of challenges right now when it comes to staffing. Tons of challenges with just in general. I mean, you can't find staff. The guests that have been coming into dinner lately have been very, very demanding. It's been making it a little complicated to do your job correctly because, I don't think anybody really has the empathy for restaurants and stuff like that. I think what's going to happen in the future, to be honest with you, is I think people are going to realize that restaurants need to get more expensive or they're not going to be able to pay those living wages, right?
Fill in the blank. Cooking is?
Cooking to me is it's powerful, man. I mean, there's I tell people all the time, I'm like, I think a lot of our world wars could have been finished with just a dish of pasta. Like, let's sit down, let's have a dish of pasta, and let's have a glass of wine. Let's talk about it. I think it's more powerful than people think. I think that when you really dive deep and you start realizing that, you look at a dish from Mexico and you compare it to a dish from Italy and you compare it to a dish from France, it's all very similar and we just put our touches on it. But it's eating it there that really blows your mind. I mean, like eating a peach in Georgia compared to eating a peach in Connecticut, totally different. You know what I mean? Eating a dish of eating a true Napolitan pizza in Naples and then eating it in my restaurant, it's different. No matter what, it's going to be different. As much as we want to try. But that's the thing, man. I think when you get there, you like, especially when you go to Italy and you have a tomato, like, in Napoli, and you're like, you could feel where it fucking comes from. That's why I think it's so amazing. So
this is one of those interesting questions I posed. What does playing with yourself mean to you?
I don't know if we could talk about that on the podcast. No, I think playing with yourself. It means one, it could be the really nasty way you take it, or it could be the way of just trying new things and testing things out, and and just having fun when you're at work. I mean, like, a lot of the times when we're here, everything is so serious, but at the end of the day, we're feeding people and we're giving them drinks. It's not that complicated, But yeah.
Do you consider yourself a lunatic?
Absolutely, 100%. You have to be in this industry. If you're not a lunatic, then you're not doing it correctly. I mean, think about it. You spend 3 to 4 weeks creating something. Takes you another week to finally finalize and get it correctly. Then you go and spend 16 hours a day trying to make it. And then all they do after they get it is criticize you. You have to be a lunatic to do this every single day. You know what I mean? And I mean, the one thing about me is that, like, I've never been into drugs and I've never been a heavy drinker. So I really need to be a lunatic to do this, because a lot of people have their outs and I just don't have it. My outs is just burying myself into more and more work, So you definitely, without a doubt, need to be a lunatic to do this, for sure.